Hey everyone, how's it going? It's me, Marco. So I thought I'd do this video because it's my very first video, so judgment away, I'm sure it's coming, but I wanted to sort of video document my journey as it's starting now, because at the moment I am now 37 and I have just finished my and just left my 10-year career with the police, police officer for 10 years, and then before that I've done a number of things. I've been a teacher, I've been a zookeeper, I've worked with kids, animals and criminals, and so I've done a bit of everything. And you know, it wasn't until my kids were born back in 2013 that I realised, do you know what? Life can be different and can be better, and that's exactly what I wanted to do with my life. I wanted to, when I first held my son, it was like, you know what, this is what I want to do with my life. I want to spend more time with these beautiful people, and I got that realization. I think anyone who's a parent can relate to that. The first time you hold your children, you know. And then my daughter came along a few years later, and it's like the classic thing, "Well, how can I ever love anyone else?" And it's like, oh, I got my daughter. But anyway, yeah. So my kids were a big, massive reason for me looking at my life and thinking there's a better way. And so since then, little by little, I didn't realize it at the time, but I was actually starting to change. And one of the things I did was to set up um, there wasn't even a blog at the time, it was more like a Twitter account. But just I was feeling so positive and energetic, and I've always been a positive person. Anybody who knows me will probably attest to that. And it's only now at 37 I've actually stopped and listened to the feedback of other people and realised that actually, you know, I've said some good stuff over the years. Maybe some of the things I do say do help and make people better, and can be a positive influence on this planet. So yeah. So I set up this Twitter account, and I called it Life to Maximum. I named it after my son at the time, because we named him Max, and realizing, you know, I'm Italian, I should know this, but apparently Max in Latin, or Maximus, means greatest. So I thought, oh yes, giving you the greatest name, but also, you know, when I was looking about what to do in my life, I thought, you know, I want to live my life to the maximum, and that's exactly what I did. I created a site, and I called it Life to Maximum, and now I've changed it to L2M because I just thought that looks a bit more corporate. But if anybody asks what L2M is, that's what it stands for, Life to Maximum. And so I thought, okay, I've got this great idea in my head, but what am I going to do with it? So I decided to not think too much about it, but I was in kind of like the logo mind. I had an idea of what I wanted. I wanted to create an organization that helped other people get the maximum out of their life, because I knew that I wanted a standard of life. I knew I wanted financial freedom. I knew I wanted to have more time with my family. I wanted to travel more, all the great things that we all want to do in life. And, you know, anyone of us who has ever been through any loss know that life is so short. We're only here for a blink of it, and you've got to live for today. You know, my brother said wise words to me a few years ago, and I'll always thank him for this, which was, you know, every morning the sun is still shining and you're still breathing, Marco. And so for me, everything else is a second. As long as I've got that, then, you know, life is great. But set up this wanted to, company, wanted to be and will be a massive company as it grows. But it was just about putting out positivity. So every time something positive and energetic popped in my head, I would write it down and I would post it out there, kind of like a blog, but it was more shorter. It was a Twitter account, so it was kind of like, you know, believe and achieve, all the kind of catchphrases that you may have heard, but kind of more personalized to myself and my experiences. And so I did that, and then after that, I did some of that. My daughter came along. At the time I was doing this, but I was still working, so I never really gave myself the time. And you know, as I've learned time management over the years, you know, you've got no one ever to. We always blame ourselves. Oh, we haven't got the time. We haven't got the time to do this and that, and that's complete rubbish, guys. I'm sorry, but it's an absolute fact. We always do have the time. The reality is that we don't use that time effectively. We think we do, but if we actually sat down and worked our working day out, you will always find the time. I guarantee you. And I will challenge anyone. I will buy anyone takeaway right now. Okay, if I can't find you, you know, a spare half an hour in the day, a spare 20 minutes, a spare hour, whatever it is that you need, I guarantee you a takeaway. I will find that for you, because we can always find more time. I truly believe that. I know it, I've seen it, I've lived it. But anyway, yeah. So that's just a part of it. Going off on a tangent here, sorry, but yeah, my daughter was born at the time, and so I didn't manage my time effectively. Stayed in the working world for a few more years. Later, it took me about, I think, when Heidi was born, so another 4 years, and then I got out. And in that time, though, I didn't just stop. Though the reason why I didn't run with Life to Maximum is because I had this dream and this vision of starting up a business, and I've never started a business up in my life. I had no clue what to do, but I'd always been very energetic, very bouncy. You know, people would compare me to, you know, maybe a character on CBB saying, "Oh, you should be on TV, you should do this and that." And I thought I wanted to run like a soft play business. I'd always wanted to run it from years later. I didn't know what type of business I wanted to run, I did know what I wanted to run. I wanted a soft play business at the time. But I didn't know how to run it, and the reality is you just have to do it. A great friend of mine, Karen, shout out to Karen, said to me, "Marco, this person's selling a soft play business. Would you be interested?" And I did, and I just scrambled a little bit of money together, bought some second-hand equipment, started this business up, and it wasn't massive, but it was mine. It was art. It was, and the greatest memory I'll ever have from that is I got to share that with my life partner, my wife. Because it was something that we got to do together. It was something that allowed us to spend time with our children, because I was following that goal of wanting to spend more time with my children. But unfortunately, and most of you can relate if you own a business, is that when you run a business and you've got costs, you've got staffing costs, you've got time. I mean, I was working 18-hour days at a certain point because I was working my job as a police officer, coming back after doing like a 10-hour day or something silly like that, or a 12-hour shift, and then lugging, believe it or not, equipment, which I had to get trolleys for, lugging them up a hill into like a church hall where we did our business, and then lugging it back down the hill when I was packing it away. But yeah, so there were nights when I was about, you know, up till sort of 3 o'clock in the morning, and I had some really lovely friends who supported me through that. And there were hard times as well. You know, it's always hard when you have friends involved in business, because you want to grow with your friends. But because I was maybe sort of, you know, young in business, if you will, not young in life so much, but young in business, although I'm hoping I don't look too old now, but yeah, 37, I'm cracking on a little bit. Bit of vainness, sorry about that. But yeah, so business was good, and, you know, I was grateful to my friends, but I learned a very valuable lesson that, you know, if you're going to have a business and you're going to have a workforce, then you need to be able to support that workforce and have that reassurances. And those were life lessons I taught. I learned a lot about, you know, sort of making sure that you're not overspending, keeping costs down. I'm proud to say we made you know, a little bit on that business, but we never made a loss, which I was always really glad about. We didn't grow massively, we didn't lose massively, but we were kind of in here, and after about 3 years of running this soft play, it was great. I mean, the community that we were in, they absolutely loved it. They thought we were amazing, but it got to that point where, do I want to run a soft play for the rest of my life, or have I ticked the life box here of what I want to do? And so I decided, hey buddy, that I wanted to come along and, hello mate, do you want to come sit with daddy? Dragging my son up. Hello. So, say hello, Max.
Hello.
You know. So I decided. Okay, I'll get you a drink. So we're going to move around while I do this and being a dad. You know, if you want to be a stay-at-home dad and you want to run a business, you got to remember, have the drinks. But so anyway, we're moving and talking. Look at that. So I realised that if I want to run a successful business, my brain is gonna, and you know what, I'm gonna pause this video and I'm gonna come straight back to you. Hey guys, we're back. So yeah, where were we? We were talking about the journey. So I got to the point where I had achieved everything I wanted to achieve in those 3 years, and then realised that I don't want to run a soft play business as per se, but I do want to run a successful business that will continue to grow and change and evolve. And it was around this time that our kids were about 5 and 4 anyway, so it was sort of a really good period where you know, it's for anyone who's taking their kids to a soft play know that that's the kind of time when you're kind of looking to do something else. So I'm really, really grateful to my kids because they've helped me grow and evolve and change, and which is really crucial in life. And I think sometimes as adults we tend not to stop to change much because we get caught up in our jobs and we just get on with it. I certainly was for 10 years. So yeah, around that time, you know, I was thinking, okay, I wanted to buy a house. That was sort of my next big goal. And I thought, well, okay, we're saving, you know, there's no 100% mortgages out there, there's no guarantees, didn't really want to do a part buy. So I decided what I wanted to do was, you know, fully buy. And hey, buddy, you okay?
Come on, have crackers and butter.
Daddy duty calls again. It's crackers and butter. So we're going to pause and we're going to come back again. See ya. And we're back. So yeah, so it's really interesting when you're sort of stopping and starting things because then your like brain has to switch on and off. Do you ever have that? So yeah, went to get the business ideas rolling again about what I wanted to do, and like I was saying, I wanted to buy a house at the same time. So I thought, okay, well if I'm going to do this, I want to do this properly. I want to buy a house outright. And so I thought, you know, I've got to make some life changes here. And I remember I was in the shower. Please don't picture me in the shower, although I've just said that now. You probably have. I hope it was a nice sight. But, yeah. God, that's really awkward, isn't it? I just said that. Sorry, everyone. Sorry, anyone who knows me who's just done that. But anyway, I'm going to change the subject quickly. So I decided it was time for a really big sacrifice, and it was probably the hardest one. And I decided that if I'm going to afford a house, I need to make some massive financial sacrifices. And the biggest one was that we were renting at the time. I was going to have to move in with my in-laws. I could have moved in with my parents, but for the sake of my family, I thought it more comfortable for my wife and my kids if we moved in with my in-laws. So it was a big sacrifice. It's quite hard as well because, you know, anyone who's got in-laws can understand from that point of view. It can be challenging, and I'm sure it was for them, and I'm truly grateful that they did let us stay with them. But yeah, there were some challenges, but it was a sacrifice worth making because now we have our beautiful house, which was an interesting story on that one. Just quickly, we bought the house. A month later, the beast from the east, as they called it, in 2017. No, sorry, 2018, when it struck in February, March. There was a cold winter, it froze all the pipes, and it decimated the whole house. So you're thinking, yes, this guy in front of you here, he sacrificed and worked hard, his wife and he have saved for a house deposit. Finally get the house, a month later, the house is destroyed. And then it was quite hard because during that period of time, and I'm sure many of you can relate to this, there are moments in time when you have bereavement, where you lose people in life that are really pivotal to the reasons why you look at life and realise that change needs to happen, and how short life is, and that you need to live it and you need to seize every opportunity that makes you happy. So these things did happen to us, and you know, I remember at the time my poor wife crying and thinking, oh no, it's going to be the end of the world, you know, our house is destroyed, what's going to happen? And I just picked her up and got her in the car and said everything was going to be okay, and it was. And it was just about never, ever, ever giving up about anything. So if there's anything you're going to take from this really long-winded speech at the end of it, it's please, whatever you do in life, don't give up, live your dreams, achieve them. They will happen, and if you need help in how to achieve them, pick up the phone, call me, I don't mind. But do whatever it is that makes you happy in life, because life is just so short. So anyway, rambling on here. I made that decision. We got the house, and at the time I was looking about training and getting into, because I got my head around, I knew that I was good at public speaking, I knew I was good at presenting, I was doing a lot of it on the side. I was actually doing a lot for the police without realising it, and not getting paid for it as well, which was strange. I was doing all this public speaking in addition to my job. It was nothing to do with my job, but yeah, it was good. And then what happened was Max came back.
Hey, Daddy.
Hey, Max, how you doing?
What are you doing?
Daddy is doing a video diary to record. Well, he's already lost interest there. I'm going to carry on.
I'm thirsty.
He's thirsty. He's having another drink. But yeah, it was towards the end of my career at the police where I was at an award ceremony for a organisation that I'd helped. Yes, Max?
Could you care for me?
I will. I'll tell you what, he might be hiding next door or in the playroom. You want to have a look? Yes, Max. It's the great thing about being a dad and working at home, you can kind of acknowledge your kids. I'm great. Do you want to sit with Daddy?
Daddy, wait a minute. Look. You're sore.
Yeah. It's probably actually a good time to just jump in because I've skipped over the biggest pieces of my life, which are my kids. And as this is a video diary. Yeah, so my son, bless him, he has been like the biggest motivator. When he was born, before he was born, we found out he had something called bilateral talipes, which is club feet, so his feet are inturned. He had to go through, surgery. He had to go through casts. His mother and I went through, he had to wear steel boots and bars for 4 years. Nothing gives you the strength you need in life than seeing your children go through adversity and challenges. And then when that was all sorted out, we found out he was diagnosed with ASD, autism spectrum disorder. And do you know what? I was in a massive denial at the time. I was ignorant about special educational needs, but it taught me how to be a much more patient parent, and it's helped me be a better person and a better parent, and help others as well, which is great. I think when life happens and you get these challenges in life, it's cool that you learn from them, because you will be surprised when people open up to you and tell you their problems, and you can, you know what, I can't fully understand what it might be like for you going through that, but I can empathize to a certain level because I went through something similar. And the most valuable thing you can do if you're ever talking to someone who's going through any challenges in life is just listen to them. That 15 minutes you spend just taking in what they're saying, not giving an opinion, it can change their day, it can change their life. I know, as a police officer, I did it for 5 years in a school, helping with young kids going through problems. Life will present its challenges, and you can make a difference if you just give them that 15 minutes. But yeah, love him bits. My son, he went through his challenges, inspired me to do some of the things I always wanted to do. I always wanted to run a marathon, and people were like, "Oh yeah, run, fat boy, run," and stuff like that. And I was like, years later they'd ask me, "Oh, did you run that marathon?" Or they knew I ran, and I was like, "Actually, I ran 2," because I ran one when he started his treatment, and one at the end of it to commemorate the end of his treatment with his club feet. And he's doing really well now. He runs around and everything like that, but we still do a little bit of physio on the side. It's incredible. You start talking about one thing and you just go on. You're probably all thinking like, oh, I've had enough of listening to Marco now. But hey, if you're still here, thank you for listening. So what's next? At the time I got a house fixed. I was getting to the point where I was looking at opportunities. My friends introduced me to some fantastic network marketing opportunities, because obviously nowadays everybody buys everything online anyway. So if you can, manage your time and make money using the internet, which is the way the world works nowadays. Let's face it, nobody goes and shops anything on the high street anymore. Well, maybe on the odd occasion you might fancy doing a bit of window shopping, you might pick up the odd nice pair of shoes or whatever you do. A guy saying shoes, yeah, didn't come off random there, but okay. My friends presented the opportunities to me. I grabbed them with both hands. That's going really, really well. I'm really happy. I'm not going to talk about that on this video. This is just a me video. Sorry, all about me. But just my journey. Because at some point one day I might be confident enough to actually post this. I might do it right now, who knows. I'm crazy like that if anybody knows me. Then what happened? We were going to... You know what? I've said so much, I've completely forgotten. Sorry about this. Well, I got into... that was it. I wanted to do public speaking, got into coaching and training, and like I said, I was doing that at work, and then I met a really great inspirational guy, went on a course that he taught, and I thought, you know what, I could deliver this. And he was from a similar background as me, and I thought, I'd really like to get involved with what he's doing. I'd like to do it full time. This is what I want to do. I want to do training, and that's that. And I didn't realise at the time, but that was one of my biggest steps, because I was like, right, I'm going to leave the police in this year. I'm going to leave the police. I'm going to start my new career. I'm going to invest more time in my family. I'm going to invest, more time in myself. So it's like, new house, new job, new life, and that is where I'm at today. I've actually achieved all of those goals, and now I'm just looking, to not maintain those goals, but take those goals to the next level. So today, the 11th of September, which, funny enough, may be the day or the day before I asked my wife to marry me. It's always something about September that brings change, the new school term or whatever. But yeah, so today is the official day. I'd like to announce that I, Marco, am launching my new consultation stroke support organisation called Life to Maximum. It's back, and I'm going to focus on it. I'm going to build it slowly, and it's going to become an organisation that offers not only coaching and support and training and for skills for people across the board, because to be honest, I've worked with so many people over the years in so many various organisations, like I said from earlier, zookeeper, teacher, police officer. I've worked with so many families and friends over the years that I've realised that, I have always been a problem solver, a support worker in some way, a helper, and people, I do help people, and I'd like to put that, and I'd like to do that with my life. I'd like to wake up every morning knowing I'm making someone's life better. It's like, I think there's an American saying, if you're not making someone else's life better, you're wasting your time, and it's true, We should, we're only on this earth for a fraction of a second. Do what makes you happy, but do something positive and something that brings people up, And I'm not the best person in the world, I'm not the worst person in the world, but I'm a person determined to never give up. And unfortunately my wife is as well, otherwise she probably wouldn't stay married to me. Thank you, honey, if you're watching this, for sticking around and supporting me, because I know it can be challenging at times. But that's what we do. We Life to Maximum is an organisation that supports and trains and teaches skills and helps people achieve their goals, whatever your background will be. But on top of that, we also highlight and promote other organisations that do the same. So if you'd like to partner with us, you don't have to do anything. We are setting up our website, and it's going to be live, hopefully, I'm hoping, for sort of, the end of this month. And it's going to be promoting organisations that are out there making people's lives better, adding value to people, and all we do is we literally provide a Unity link that when people go on our site, they can get the training, they can get the coaching, they can get the problem solving, but on top of that, if they're looking for other organisations thinking, okay, this is very generic, I appreciate this guy Marco can hit every market, but I just really want something in relation to this, well, good news guys, our website covers it, because you can click in kids, you can click in marketing, you can click in different areas or whatever it is, and we will take you to a list of affiliates who are people like myself who run heartfelt organisations, and all we care about is giving people the best service, but I know it sounds cheesy, from the heart, because there are so many organisations out there that literally, paycheck driven, and if anybody's ever rung up a customer service number or something like that, and you speak to someone, you can within 15 seconds or within 60 seconds whether that person really cares or not. That's the organisation, that's the dream I have, running an organisation and promoting and supporting organisations that are similar to us, that we literally care about our neighbours, our friends, and our and the people out there, and helping them achieve their dreams. And that's it. I was to say in a nutshell. You've listened to me probably about half an hour now, but thank you so much, everyone, for watching this video. Please like it, comment it, whatever you want to do. As I say, it's my very, very first video. I've completely winged it. I hope to do many more of these. This is the first. It was funny, as a police officer, I always used to watch videos of people, and whether it be toy videos with my kids and people who do promoting toys, or motivational videos, and I always thought, one day I'd love to do that, but I'm kind of like, oh, my job's going to probably say something about it, or it's like, oh, the fear, the negative comments, and I was at a conference recently, and I came back so positive. But there was an end of show performance, and a wonderful person did this performance, and he was just like, just do it. And you know what? Ian, shout out to Ian. You know who you are, buddy. You're absolutely right, mate. Just do it. And just very quickly, well, we'll get the shout outs of the way. Shout outs to my friends Simon and Siobhan, because they're wonderful. Shout outs to God. I'm gonna end up going on forever. But shout out, like I said, to Siobhan and Simon, because they got me to this conference. Shout out to all my friends and family, of course, because I could be here all day saying thank you to individually every single one of you who have helped me get to where I am today. Here I am sitting in my kitchen/dining area, which is soon. I can show you soon. We're about to have the extension is getting built soon. But thank you to everyone. Life is great. I really appreciate you listening to this. And listen, if you want to hear more, send me a message, ping me an email. If you've got my number, send me a text. And let's go out there and live our dreams, guys, because I'm living mine and you can too. So have a great day, have a great one, and see you soon.